We have 4 objectives today. The first one is to understand the Excel interface and its components. Number 2 is to perform basic data entry and editing tasks. The third one is to apply formatting to enhance data readability. And then the fourth one is to use AutoFill and Flash fill to automate repetitive entries. Right. So this is the interface of the Excel. And then I said we have rows and we have columns in Excel. So for the rows, it starts with the letters. That's A, B, C, D, and the likes and the likes. Up onto the last one, control and the right arrow takes you to the last column. Control and the right arrow takes you to the first one. So the columns are A, B, C up onto the last one. And then the rows are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, up onto the last one. Control and down arrow takes you to the last row, which is 1048576. Control plus up arrow takes you back to the first one, which is row 1. And I said the intersection of the row and the column is the cell. So that means where you are typing, if I come here and I type inside there, that is the cell with this reference. The reference is K8. So if you want to know the address where you are typing, you just come to this place, you can see the number, the reference there. For example, if I come to this place, it is S14. And S14 means colon S, row 14. So the intersection is a cell. So it is easy for you to identify, okay, this is where I am typing. For example, if I say go to cell C4, you know that you go to column C and then you go to row 4, and this is where you should type. We come to the toolbars. Just like any of the Microsoft Office, packages, Excel also has, the file, the home, the insert, all of this are just for us to manipulate whatever we are doing in the workbook. The workbook is the combination of all the sheets you have in that particular file. We can see the cell reference. Where I am is C16. If I click outside, I am in J12. If you look at your own sheets, J12 should give you $37,050. So that means we are on the same page because it is the same cell reference, same file we are looking at. If I say, okay, let's go to cell O120, that should give you 1st of December 2014. Right. So if you come to the home menu, what can you do there? You can cut, you can copy, you can change the size of the text that you have in there. So you can edit from the home button. For example, if I want to change this and make it bigger, I can just highlight it, change the font type. For example, I want this and I want it to be bigger. I can just highlight it and make it, bigger. Just choose whatever you want. It makes it bigger. And you can Control Z to go back to where you were before. Now, for example, if I make it bigger, you notice that channel partners, United States, it has moved to the next cell. You can expand it. That means if I highlight this and I want it to to just show that cell, it should not overflow to the next cell. What will I do is just to come here. You can see that the arrow has changed to like a cross. You just hold on, you just move it around, come to it, and then expand it. Keep expanding it until you don't have just like that, so that you know that everything is in just one cell, it's not overflowing. There are other options you can use. For example, if I highlight this and I click wrap text, what does wrap text do? That means my text is overflowing to the next cell, but I don't want that to happen. So I can highlight it, click on wrap text, it takes it to the next line so that it looks pretty better. It looks, more presentable. That's wrap text. I'm not going to be talking about all the icons. I'll just highlight, the ones that are pretty important, so that we can cover it within this class. So that's wrap text for us. This icon allows you to position your text. I mean, for example, let's look at this. If I click on this one, it takes it up. That's if you hover it, it tells you top align. It aligns it to the topmost top of that cell. If you choose the second one, which is middle align, it aligns it to the middle. If you come to the other one, it aligns it to the lower part of the cell. So different occasions, you may want to make it to be in the middle. You just highlight the cell and then click on it. That's for the alignment. You can also change the orientation of the text. That's using this one. This one is also the alignment. Align left, center, or right. That means you can align center and still align up. So it depends on, just depending on what you want to achieve, you can align the text the way you want it. I've talked about the font type, the font size. You can increase the fonts or reduce it depending on what you want to do. You can highlight it and then you can fill the color. For example, I want to show this one. I want to make it, more pronounced. I can change the color and make it, fill it as color red, and then it remains. I can change the text color. That means you have the fill color, you have the text color. So the font color can be, for example, I can decide to make it white and then make the fill color to be red. You can see it is still readable. So it depends on what you want. You can make it bold, you can underline it, you can choose italics depending on what you want. Now, if you come to the numbers, you can choose percentage. For example, you've done a calculation and then you want to show it as a percentage, not necessarily as decimal numbers. You can change it to, percentage. You can add comma. For example, if I highlight this and I choose a comma, it changes the type of text in that particular cell range and makes it currency. Okay, let's just practicalize something. If I type just random numbers and then I highlight it and I choose comma, it changes it to decimal, making it, in that currency format. That's for the comma. And then you can reduce or increase the decimal numbers. For example, I want to change this. It is already in 2 decimal places. If I want to make it 3 decimal places or just 1 decimal place, I can just play with this. This will make it shorter, make the decimal numbers reduced by 1. And then you can keep going until you have removed all the decimal places. Or you can keep increasing it until you have the desired number of decimal places that you want. So that's for that. And then for you to save a file, what do you do? File, then you save, or you file, you save it. That means you want to change the location where you have saved it before now. You can just do file, save as. Then you can choose the destination where you want to save it into. Or if you have been working on it like I've been doing and you want to save the file itself, you can just do file and then save. It saves whatever you have done so far. If you are working on for example, your organization's device, your laptop or your desktop, and it's connected to your Office domain, at times it does automatic save so that even as you are working, it saves it automatically. You don't have to be, saving and saving each time you are working on it, just saves it automatically. But if it's on your device, it may not save. If you have not connected it to maybe OneDrive or to the cloud, it will not save automatically. Okay, so that's for the first objective. The second one we're going to be doing is to perform basic data entry and editing tasks. So if you can open the workbook, add a new sheet to it. If you have only sheet 1, just click on the plus sign and then click add. Just click on it. It will add a new sheet for you. Just click and then it adds a new sheet for you. Then you have a blank worksheet. Right. So open the document, then click the plus sign, and then let's work on a blank document. So you can make it name. A1, let's put name, and then B1, let's put amount. And then, yeah, that's fine. So let's start typing. Just type any name. For example, I'll put my name, Benga David. Amount, I put 2586. Second one, I'll put, let's say I put Rita, Dominic. And then amount, just put something. If you can, let's do it together so that we are on the same place, the same page. Next one, I put Yomi Davis, and I put an amount, whatever you want to put there. I put another name, Maureen Chucks, and I put an amount there. And then one more, let's do Tini Adams, and I put an amount there. So now I want to make this more presentable. For example, I cannot see the full name. I cannot see the surname of most of my clients. So how do we make this more presentable? If I'm to do this, the first thing I'll do is either to highlight it and then expand, keep expanding until I can see all the names. But imagine if I have 100,000 names, how will I keep expanding like that? I won't be able to do that. So what I would rather do is I'll come here, the intersection between the row and the column, not where the A starts, just here, where you have like this triangle. Just click on it. If you click on it, it selects the entire sheet. Once you have selected the entire sheet, double click in between any of the intersection. Double click here. It automatically expands it to the, so that you can see all the names and everything in the cell. You'll be able to see it all. I'll do that again. You click on the arrow here, the triangle, it highlights the entire sheet, and then come in between and then just double click. Once your arrow has changed to this kind of arrow, and then you just double click on it, it automatically expands the cells so that it can accommodate all the content. You can see all the content at once. So that makes it faster for me than me coming and then doing like this, trying to expand and then to be sure, okay, can I see everything now? Are you sure I can see everything now? No, just come to the triangle, then double click, and then you are fine. That's that one done. The next thing we are going to do here is to format it. Now, the headings, can I make it more pronounced? Can I make it bigger? Okay, so highlight cell A1 and B1. Once we highlight cell A1 and B1, let's make it bold. Let's increase the fonts. Now we have a challenge. The amounts are spilled over to the C1 cell. So what can we do again? Just like we did the other time, highlight, just click on it, highlight the entire sheet, and then double click. Automatically, it fits it in back. Right? Okay, so this is amount, is an amount column, but it's not looking like amount, it's looking like just ordinary numbers. So what can we do? Just highlight the numbers. Remember the comma that I mentioned the other time and click on the comma. It changes it to that format, currency. If you don't want to do that, you can Control Z and then highlight the numbers again. Click this drop down arrow for the number formats, and then you can choose currency, or you can choose accounting. You can choose number formats, whatever you want. You have so many types I can choose from. So I'll just choose currency, and then it puts the currency symbol in front of it. If I don't want currency symbol, if I want the number formats, it just changes it to the number with decimal places. So whatever you want, you can just change it to that. And then that is it. But maybe I even want to do total. I want what is the total amount? Can I get the total amount? So I can type in total, and then how will I get the total? I don't want to calculate manually. So what do? I've written total in here in cell A7, and then in B7, that's where I want the total figure to be, total amount to be. So just click inside of it, and then come, if you can see the AUTOSUM, it should be there by default. If it's not there, you can come to the home, and then under your editing, you should be able to see it there. Just click on AutoSum. AutoSum automatically sums that cell for you. And then it highlights it. In case I don't want part of the cell to be part of this total sum, I can unselect those parts. But since I want everything, it has highlighted the 5 cells for me. I just press enter on my keyboard, and then it gives me the total sum. That's the total sum for the amount. If I'll do that again, Control Z, this is where I want the sum. Then I click Auto Sum, and then I press enter on the keyboard. And for example, if I don't want all the cells to be there, if I click Auto Sum, it has highlighted it, but I don't want my own amount to be there. What will I do? I just click from the beginning that I want, highlight all the cells I want, and then release the mouse, and then press enter on the keyboard. And of course, it is telling me now that I have omitted a cell. It has omitted a cell, just for you to be sure that, are you sure this is what you want to do? But if that's not what I want to do, I'll just delete it and then press the auto sum again and press enter. It gives me the total sum for the amount. Do one more thing to make it more presentable. The total should be different from the names. So I can make the total bold. I can make the total amount also bold. And I can still do one more thing to make it more presentable. I can highlight the total, all of the, my data, and then come to this border. What kind of border do I want? I want border on everything, all borders. Border is just to put, just to make it look more presentable in a table format. So I just click all borders, and then it is more pronounced. I can see it more. I'm moving on to the AutoFill and Flash fill. Okay, so if you can go back to your sheet 1. If you can go back to your sheet 1, let me just remove these colors. And then, okay, I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to go back to, okay, let me show you so that at least it's still part of the learning. I want to remove this red. It's just too bold on my eyes. So I click inside the cell, and then I come back to this fill. It was initially red, so I want it to be white, so that it's like the other ones. The same thing as this one. I change it to white, but the text is white as well. So I need to change the text to red. So I just come to the font color, and then I click on black. And then it's also bold. I remove the bold. Click on the bold again. The bold is removed. Okay. Then these fonts are too big. That's the one I have for the channels partners. These ones are too big. So I want to make it the same thing as this. So I'm going to show you how to use Format Painter. Format Painter. This is the Format Painter. Just under the cut copy, you have the Format Painter. Now, what does Format Painter do? It's like a paintbrush. It copies the formatting that you have in a particular place, uses the same format on this text that you want. For example, I want this text to be like this ones, and I don't want to be doing the editing one by one. I don't want to be doing the editing one by one. So what do? The text that I like, this is what I want it to look like. So I highlight it. I click on the Format Painter, and then I highlight the text I want to change. That's click, hold your mouse to highlight all the cells, and then leave your mouse. It changes everything to what I want. If you want us to do that again, this is what you have on your screen. This is how your screen looks like. So highlight cells C97 up to C112. That means you're highlighting, just highlight a part of it, then increase the font, say 28. So that's what I want you to do. You have highlighted it, you have changed the font to size 28, and then click outside of it. Now I want you to return it back to something like this. So what will you do? You highlight, I want it to look like this, right? So I highlight my destination formatting. Like, how do I want it to look like? This is how I want it to look like. So I highlight it. I click on Format Painter. Then I go back to the beginning of my cells. So I highlight it. That's click on the first cell, hold your mouse, and then keep dragging it up until you get to the last cell that you want to format, and then release your mouse. Go back to cell C1. The title of cell C1 is merged. Title of D1 is separate. So if you look at colon C, it is a combination of cell of colon A slash colon B. Cells colon C is a combination, or we call it concatenation. That's joining text together. Concatenation of colon A and colon B, but I now divided it with a slash. If you click on cell C2, look at that formula. Let's try and read it as layman. Is equals to at segment. If you look at A, colon A is colon called segment. So that means everything inside is called segment. And quotation mark, the slash, and colon B. So if you want to do that again, let's do it again. If you want, you can highlight colon C and delete it. That's what I have. This is what we have now. Let's do this together. Highlight colon C and delete it. Just press delete on your keyboard. It brings you to this. Now, this is what we have. Now, you want to double click on C1. Double click on C1 to change what you have there, or click on C1 and go to the formula bar and highlight it and change it to combined and press enter. Now, in C2, let's start the formula. Is equals to A2, sorry, and on your keyboard, I'm using slash and again B2. Now, what does this mean? It means if you want to combine text, you have different columns that has text. You can use concatenation, which is the and or the ampersand sign, the and sign. You can use it to, join them together as much as you want. So that means if I want to do colon A, colon B, colon E, colon F, I can use equals to, click on it, and click on B, and click on E, and the likes, like that, like that, like that. And once you get to the end of it, you just click enter. You can decide to separate yours with space. You can decide to separate it with just anything. But once you are putting a text, for example, I want to say government of Canada. I want to put off in between. That off must be in quotation mark. So one more thing I want us to do is click on cell C2. You have the formula like this. Okay, you have the formula like this, and I want to separate it. I want to have government of Canada, mid market of France, government of Germany. So I want to add a off in between. So what will I do? Equals to segment and in between and the country. I will put quotation mark space off and then end it with quotation mark and then use another ampersand. Now I'm putting the space before the off so that it will not be everything together. There will be a space between government and the off, and then I can also put a space after the off so that it is government of Canada. And then I put enter. I think it's better now. Government of Canada, mid market of France. We have done autofill. We are going to do flash fill now. Now look at colon C, government of Canada. Now I added another colon D. And I want to call this, for example, I want to call it new country. Enter. Remember what we did? I cannot see the country. So what do I want to do? I just double click on this and then it makes it new country. It expands it. Now, in D2, I type Canada. And then I press enter on my keyboard. Can you see what's happening? Let me do it again. In cell D2, I type Canada and I press enter. In D3, I type Germany. Excel automatically imagines that what I want is those countries from colon C. If you can see D4, it is putting France already, and the next one is putting Germany. So if I press enter, it fills everything for me. That is flash fill. It just assumes, okay, this is what you want, and once you confirm it's what you want, it just automatically fills it for you. So imagine you have 100,000, cells or 100,000 rows in that column. It just fills it automatically for you. And if you keep scrolling, you can see that that's what I have. So what I want to do now is I want to do a simple calculation. So let's say I now want to calculate sales minus, let me say sales minus profit. Let me say I want to do L and then N. I right click on colon O, and click insert so that I can have a new column. Then what I want is equals to, remember for every formula, you have to start with equals to. So equals to, I click on L2 minus N2 and I press enter. It calculates it for the entire column. I'll do that again. Equals to L2 minus N2 and I press enter. It gives you the calculation for that entire column.